In today's demonstration of Resolve Actions Express, we are going to be looking at the very cool and exciting Microsoft Teams integration. This integration allows end users to be consumers of automation, to interact with automation, but using a very familiar and comfortable front end, the Microsoft Teams client, something that already exists on all of their workstations. To get started, I'm going to chat into the bot with one of the two trigger words that I have set up, as you can see, hi or hello. After submitting this message, we will see the window behind me, the live dashboard in Resolve Actions Express, show that the message was intercepted and the workflows are now running that will be generating and controlling our entire chatbot conversation. Now that I've submitted my greeting, I will be greeted back from the chatbot with a number of options in a menu. So as we can see, the chatbot greeted me by name and gave me a number of buttons I can click on here for a few different categories. Things like working with virtual machines, working with tickets, new hire onboarding, password resets, or even requesting an account. So let's take a quick look at the account request. All I have to do is click on the button, and as we can see behind me, the workflow is being executed to produce all of the output we see, as well as take in all of the input. So for our account request, we're going to be given a number of options here. I'm going to choose PagerDuty for today's demonstration. Now our automated workflow knows who I am by my email address, of course. It's reaching out to Active Directory to figure out who my manager is. It's actually emailing them with an approval request. The moment that the manager receives the email, replies with an approval or a denial, I'll be updated right here in Microsoft Teams with the outcome of that, as well as a note about my new account should it be approved. So let's take a look at the email. In the demonstration we're doing here, I am my own manager. But as you can see, I received an email letting me know that one of my direct reports, Mr. Derek Pasquarella, has requested a PagerDuty account. The email lets me know that all I need to do is reply with yes or no to either approve or deny this request respectfully. So I will send back a yes. I can safely close this email, and in just a moment, our Teams client will be updated after Actions Express receives that email. And just like that, Actions Express, in the same way it picked up on incoming team messages, also picked up on the approval email. So it lets us know that our account was created and even gives us a link to where this whole thing has been documented in a ticket. It gives me an option here to perform some other tasks, so I'll go ahead and do that. Now, from some of the other examples we saw, why don't we take a look at some virtual machine management. So here we have the option to provision a new virtual machine or modify an existing one. Why don't we go ahead and create a new one? This example today is using the plug-and-play native VMware integration, as you can see. And I've got a couple of options here. Data store, I'll choose one of these. Just want to also make mention of the fact that we can also integrate natively with already pre-built content into the other popular virtual infrastructure services out there, things like Azure, AWS, GCP, Hyper-V. So as I continue here, I'm going to choose a 10 gigabyte primary disk. I had selected one CPU for the CPU count previously. We'll give this thing here 4 gigabytes of RAM just for example purposes. And we'll choose a Windows 10 guest OS image as well. Now from here, our workflow has collected all of the input from me, the end user, directly through Microsoft Teams, and it's getting to work on actually building out that new virtual machine. It'll update us right here in the chat log the moment that it's ready, and it looks like it's already been done. Fantastic. And of course, the entire request is documented here in a ticket, just like before. We're going to choose another task, just so we can take an example, maybe from the password reset category. Now, today's example is going to be doing a password reset with Active Directory, where our multi-factor authentication or security challenge is just going to be the last 4 digits of a social security number. But it's important to mention that we've got integrations with tools like Okta or Duo, so you can actually push an identity verification request directly to an end user's mobile device for them to approve. Now that we have entered the last four of our social, it's actually comparing it with what's on record in Active Directory, and since they matched, it went ahead and initiated the password reset for me. My new password is here, again, documented in a ticket, and everything only took a couple of clicks and a few strokes of the keyboard. So that'll be it for the chatbot. I'll select no here, and then we've got our friendly little robot waving goodbye to us. I'll close that, and let's take a look here on the Resolve side at the actual workflows responsible for powering the automation that we just looked at. So like everything in our platform, everything is very visual when it comes to dealing with Microsoft Teams. As you can see here in our account request creation workflow, we have the ability to talk to specific users or channels or groups, specifying any type of message you want and any types of buttons that you want to give here. The same sort of top-down logic applies where we can take input, pass it along, take different branches, and as you can see in this section here, we handle the process differently if there is a PagerDuty account request or Okta or Office. But of course, this can be altered to handle any number of account request types. Here in the password reset section, we can see the workflow responsible for that, where we greet the user here in Teams. For example, today, as you recall, we're actually going to retrieve the last four digits of the user's social security number from Active Directory. And then we're going to create our ticket in ServiceNow to document the entire request. Moving along, we are going to be checking here to make sure that they successfully entered the correct password, do things like generate a new strong temporary password for them, and then actually automatically initiate the reset against our domain controller. If we take a look at our virtual machine provisioning, we can see that all we had to do was connect activities here that give the end user any number of buttons to represent the acceptable options for them, which looks the same as we keep on going for data store, CPU count, primary disk size, etc. And as we go down here, provisioning that new virtual machine is as easy as pointing at our ESX host, or vCenter in this case, and then passing all of those variables into these fields here for things like CPU count, disk size, available RAM memory, the data store, etc. So that wraps up our demonstration of the Resolve Actions Express Microsoft Teams integration. Thanks for watching.